Today's topic will be about how the universe requires patience during the pursuit of your goals. So basically, learn how to keep your cool. And there's a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson that says, "Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience." So that is the energy we're going to be embodying today. But when you're goal setting, you're conquering the world, you're growing as a person, it can be easy to get on a roll where you are expecting your dreams to show up in your reality ASAP. And if you followed the steps in another one of my posts, 3 tips to align your wants with the universe, it can be easy to expect your dreams to become reality because you have done the work to lay it out in those steps. Check that video out. I'll link it below in the description. But everyone talks about manifestation and being more disciplined and going after your dreams, but the conversation doesn't include the waiting game you have to play. It's like the time stopping in the quantum realm. I don't know if there's any Marvel fans listening right now. There's some really fun Ant-Man movies that discuss the quantum realm in further detail if you haven't heard of it and are interested. But it's like that time stopping in the place between where you are and where you want to be. And once you acknowledge the light from within that wakes you up and inspires you to take control over your life, you want to see the results of your actions almost immediately. And the reality is that you must surrender to the process and be in acceptance of where you are today while you're planning for your future. So the theme of the year has been the universe testing my ability to be patient in unsavory circumstances and stay committed to the goals I have for myself. It's been an eye-opening journey where I have had to confront thoughts of lack and embrace an abundance mindset in all areas. So today I'll be sharing an experience I had and the tips I use to keep my patience and stay on the path. So, keeping your cool. Let's say you've done the work, you've acknowledged the goals and the dreams you want to see in your reality. Now what? Does setting the goal in your mind and writing it down mean that it will automatically manifest in the next 48 hours like a store refund for a pair of shoes? Well, no. While setting a goal helps to give you focus and a vision of where you want to be, you then have to set mini steps to get the big goal accomplished. So during the times you are completing a mini step, you should embrace an attitude of patience and inner knowing that what is for you will be for you. So let me give you an example of where I had to practice the art of patience in my own life. Do you know the saying that managers can break or make a job? Well, at a previous job, my manager had left the organization. So I believe this was in February 2022. We were on the path of reorganization, and I was supposed to be the right hand woman for the direction she wanted our team to be on. So you know what that means, right? And boosted title, boosted salary. So all things were looking right for me. But when she ended up leaving, there was a lot of frustration that I felt, if you could imagine. I finally had a manager that I felt was invested in my growth. She accepted my need for new challenges, and she didn't micromanage me, and then she was leaving. So when she left, I immediately started applying for other jobs because at the time I really wanted job security. And since the Great Resignation was happening, I just knew I would immediately land a new position. I set the goal of researching and then applying to 3 companies Monday through Friday. Some days I would even apply to more than 3. And while I was waiting to hear back for interviews, I was extremely annoyed due to being assigned the job responsibilities of my previous manager and keeping my own responsibilities with the same pay and title I held before. So I'm sure this quiet promotion is nothing new to anyone working in the corporate world of the USA, but I digress. Like we'll talk about that in another video. I'm a solution-oriented type of gal, so being stuck in a job I no longer resonated with was not my cup of tea. There were some days when I was counting my savings and hedging my bets with a decision to quit and hope for the best. I had an interview with a company that went well, but we couldn't agree on an appropriate salary for the job duties, so that fell through. I had interviews where everything went well and the jobs ended up closing due to lack of funding or resources. I had interviews where, admittedly, I wasn't showing up as my best self due to being frustrated and not selling myself and my capabilities as I probably could have. So, to keep my cool and be patient, I alternated between several steps. So, step one, I practice gratitude for what I have by giving thanks to God for having a job with the income to pay for food, housing, transportation, utility, cell phone coverage, etc. So, this can be as simple as being grateful for 2 eyes that can see, ears that can hear, legs that work properly, lungs, etc. Really list out everything because it gets you in that spirit and that mindset of, wow, I have so much I can be thankful for. Like, this is awesome. Even if, obviously circumstances maybe not be the best for you, but it gets you in that, it reworks your mindset the longer that list is and the longer you make yourself aware of what you're grateful of. And I have found that once I start listing all that I'm grateful for, it's really tough to stay in a negative mood. Step two, I congratulate myself for the steps I took to get where I was at that day. So this involves like looking at where I was 5-10 years ago and recognizing my growth. And step three was I realized the value of what I learned by taking on so many hats at the job. So, for example, I became the go-to person for like salary audits, alignment changes, system access, etc. in the main HRIS system we use. I believe it was like iCIMS or something. I learned to place boundaries on my time while learning areas I needed to grow as a professional by speaking up for myself and getting a few items delegated to another colleague. And at the time, I read a book about negotiation as well. I can't remember the title off the top of my head, but I'll be doing a book review of that book in the future. But I needed that extra reinforcement to talk with my new boss at the time about how I was taking on so many responsibilities, but my salary wasn't reflecting all that I was doing, nor was my title. And that's another video and topic I will probably do about the result of that. But also, the other step that I did that really helped and still helps me today as I'm currently going through my ups and downs of life is doing something, step 4, which is doing something to relieve stress daily, whether this was walking in the park, working out, meditation, yoga, calling to vent to a trusted loved one, writing down my frustrations, watching hilarious YouTube videos, and turning my phone off at sometimes too, just so I can just be with myself. Another thing I like to do is color, like the adult coloring books, playing some good music, then coloring. It gets my mind off of things. And step 5, I found my last job very repetitive. So even though I was taking on different tasks, the tasks were very repetitive after a month or two. And there was just no more learning challenges at that job to enhance my growth. So I could stay in the place of complaining about it, but instead I found challenges outside of work that I could dedicate time to stay current in my field and could be used to enhance my resume, which I was using to apply to these jobs. So I did a weekly analytics course in, I want to say June to July, and received a certificate at the end of completing it. This enhanced my resume and helped me use it as a selling point in interviews. So while these steps did not remove the pressing need for my goal to be accomplished, they helped me align with what season I was in and just be content in it, as content as I could be. It helped me to alleviate the negative feelings I had towards not seeing my goal of getting a new job immediately. Eventually, in June, I had a recruiter reach out via LinkedIn with an amazing opportunity. I did a phone screening and panel interview, and I just knew that I had gotten the job. Sometimes it just feels right, and you just know. Or sometimes you don't know, because I did not get that job. Talk about a deflated balloon. So, after allowing myself to be sad and embracing my feelings, which I wrote about in another video about how to keep the faith, I decided to keep the faith and continue to apply for more jobs. But brighter days are always ahead. A month passed after I got the dreaded email saying that I wasn't selected for that role. I got a call back from that same company with a position that opened up, and they had me in mind for it. When I tell you I was praising the Lord that day, okay, Alexa, play Kirk Franklin's song Brighter Day. If you know, you know. Gospel music playing throughout the place, okay? But during the time I was applying and waiting for another aligned job opportunity, I was surely ready to leave my job. But in hindsight, being the in-house guru for using the system at my job during that time had its perks because I enhanced my system knowledge, and that system is what is used in my new job. So, do you see the blessing that the universe gave me in my time of waiting? Sometimes when we are still in a situation, we can't see where God is actively developing us for greater blessings. Also, later on another video, I will tell you about how this same job, about a year or so later, I ended up getting laid off from. So that is a fun fun twist and turn that life always, takes you on. So I'll tell you guys about that in another time, but stay tuned. But my goal in sharing this story was just as a friendly reminder to be patient with yourself, respect where you're at in life, and just trust in your Creator to get your goals accomplished. Stay encouraged, and in the words of Soul to Soul, keep on moving. If you have enjoyed listening to this episode, join the rest of the Growth Inspired Tribe and subscribe to my newsletter. By doing this, you'll get notified on each new episode, access to my latest blog post, and extra goodies such as motivating screensavers, checklists, and much more. I can tell you right now, I will not be sending out notifications daily, so don't worry. Let's embrace this journey called life together and grow into the fantastic human beings we were always destined to be.